Noile Virtual Academy, good morning, Mr. N, Unit 6%. Okay, let's remember how to find the percent of a number or how to change a percent into a decimal, right? How about problem number 1? Write this percent as a decimal, 8.4%, right? How can we write that? Well, what do you guys know? If I have 1.0, right? This is how many percent? Well, because it's the whole thing, right? Because I have 1, this will be 100%. And what do you notice here? What was the trick? To change that 1 into a percent, we move the decimal point 2 steps to the right, and we fill in the gaps with 0. Now, to go backwards from 100% and to change this one into a number, I'm going to move my decimal point back, right? I will go 2 steps to the right, and this will give me 1.0 in short. Okay? So, 8.4%. I mean, basically this is one way. Another way is to write your 8.4% as a fraction, which is what? Well, 8.4% is 8.4% per 100, right? But now, because I'm dividing 8.4 by 100, this means that I need to move my decimal point 2 steps to the left, fill in the gaps with 0, and that's why the answer here would be 0.084. Alright? And this is the answer to your problem. What is 8.4% as a fraction? Well, the decimal point moves 2 steps to the left, fill in the gaps with 0, would be 0.084. Alright? Same rule here, 15%. You divide everything by 100, as we did in here, right? Which means 2 steps to the left, this will be 2.50. Number 3, 147.3%. My decimal point moves 2 steps to the left. This will be 1.473. I hope you guys got it. I gave you so many examples here. To change your percent into a decimal, divide that number by 100, which implies for you to move the decimal point 2 steps to the left. Okay? Moving on. Write each number as a percent. Okay, number 5. Now, to write my number as a percent, I'm going to do the backwards of what we did previously, right? You're moving your decimal point 2 steps to the right, and this will give you the answer as a percent. 2.7 is actually 270%. You're basically multiplying your number by 100. Okay? 2.7 times 100, if you want percent, will give you 270%. How do we get there? Well, you will say 1 is 100%. Well, 2.7 is X percent. And you can set up a proportion, right? Your proportion here would be that 1 over 2.7 equals 100 over X. Now, this is a ratio proportion, right? The product of the two diagonals, basically 1 times X, which is X, will equal the product of the other diagonal, 2.7 times 100, which is what? 270%. I hope you understand that. Okay? How about this one? 3/8. There are many ways. You can follow the same way, multiplying everything by 100, right? This gives you what? Well, 8 and 100, you can simplify by 4, right? 4 goes in 8 2 times, 4 goes in 100, 25 times. Okay? And this will be what? 3 times 25, which is 75 over 2, and that gives you, you divide 75 by 2, 2 goes in 7 3 times, 3 times 2 is 6 out of 7, 1, 2 goes in 15, 7 times, 7 times 2, 14 out of 15, 1, decimal point, 2 goes in 10, 5, 37.5%. Okay? Number 11, you may follow the same approach. Okay? I have to multiply this by 100% if you want, right? Now, 10 and 10 are canceling out. You also have 4 and 10, they're both divisible by 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 10 divided by 2 is 5, right? This gives you 27 times 5 is what? 5 times 7, 35. 5 times 2, 10, plus 3, 13, over 2. Dividing that, 2 goes in 13 6 times. 6 times 2, 12 out of 13, 1, right? 2 goes in 15 7 times. 0.5. Okay, what? Percent. Don't forget that. And these are a few ways in which you can change your number into a percent. Okay? Let's see other problems. How about 0.7? How many percent you have here? Well, multiply by 100%. And this will give you 70%. But, maybe that percent there is confusing. Just multiply by 100 and that will tell you what is 0.7 as a percent. And you always assume, if there is nothing else given to you, that 1 is equal to 100%. Okay, let's call this one the key for your problem here. Challenge 2 and 2/5, right? Well, if we know that 1 is 100%, first of all, 2 can be written as what? 2 plus 2 over 5, right? If 1 is 100%, 2 will be twice that, which is 200%. What you need to find now is what is 2 over 5 in percent. How can you find that? Well, 2 over 5 multiplied by 100. This gives you what? Well, 5 and 100 are both divisible by 5. 5 goes in 5 once, right? 5 goes in 100 20 times. 2 times 20 will be 40. So you'll have that your 2 over 5 is actually 40%. And now you're done. Adding 200 to 40 gives you 240%. Now this is one way. Another way will be to change that mixed number into a decimal. It will be 2 divided by 5 is 0.4. This will be 2.4. And if you multiply that by 100, that will give you also 240%. Alright? Okay, how about this type of problems? 24 is what percent of 60? Well, there are many ways. One way would be to say 60 is 100%. Well, 24 is x, right? Percent. And this is your proportion. 60 over 24 equals 100 over x. Now, before you do anything, you can simplify here. 60 and 24, they're both divisible by what? By 12. Okay, so if you divide this one by 12 and the bottom by 12, you have an equivalent proportion, which is 60 divided by 12, 5. 24 divided by 12, 2. equals 100 over x. Okay, cross products, 5x equals 2 times 100. To find your x, you will divide by 5. Your x will be what? 5 goes in 100 20 times. And this tells you that your x is actually equal to 140. Alright? So what is 24 compared to 60? That will be 40%. That's one way. Let's see problem number 19. Problem number 19. 36 is 40% of what number? Now let's try this in a different way, right? So you guys remember from your elementary school or middle school when your teacher said, well, when you work with percent, use this formula that says percent over 100 equals is over of, right? And some of you will say, what the heck is this? Well, let's go back to the problem, okay? 36 is, right? Well, that will go right here where it says is. So basically you have your ratio, your proportion is what I said, 36. Percent is what? 40, right? 40 goes right there. 100, that will be the same for any problem involving percent, right? Of what number? Well, this is your of, right? And that's missing, and will be x. Okay? 40 over 100 equals 36 over x will be your proportion. You can solve it. Alright, this is one approach. If this is too confusing for you, then go back to the way we solved the previous problem. And what I said, what? 36 is 40%. 36 is 40%. Okay? Of what number? Well, this missing number, x, will be 100%. Okay? And this is your proportion. I believe is the same, right? You guys agree? So now, before you do anything in your proportion here, you can see that 40 and 100, you can divide both by 1, by 10, and then by 2, right? 2 goes in 4 2 times, 2 goes in 10 5 times. Alright? And now your equivalent proportion will be 2 over 5 equals 36 over x. And your x will be the product of the other diagonal, 5 times 36, divided by the number that's on the same diagonal with your x, divided by 2. Now we can simplify it here because 2 goes in 36 18 times, right? And your x will be 5 times 18, which is what? 5 times 8 is 40, 5 times 1 is 5, plus 4, 9. Your x is 90. So what is the missing number? What is the value of the missing number? That missing number is 90. 36 is 40% of 90. I hope it makes sense. Okay? Let's see, 12 is 30% of what number? Which approach do you guys want to use? You want to use percent over 100 equals is over of, right? If you go this way, percent is what? 30% over 100 equals 12 is, right? That will be your is of what number is missing. Alright? Same story, you can simplify here by 10. You can also simplify by 3, but if you don't see that, you will just say that, x will be equal to the other diagonal's product, 12 times 10, over the number that's on the same diagonal with your x, which is 3. 3 goes in 12 4 times. Your x will be 40. 12 is 30% of 40, right? So that's your missing number. Let's see the other problem. What is 30% of 25? Well, 25 is the whole thing. It's 100%. Okay? What, my missing number, is 30% of that? And this is your proportion. Okay? 25 over x equals 100 over 30. We can divide by 10 both sides here, right? Your x will be equal to 25 times 3 over 10. Well, 25 times 3 is 75, right? Divided by 10, that will be 7.5. Okay? So what is 30% of 25? 7.5. The answer will be 7.5. Any questions? Let me know. We'll do more in class today, so when you're watching this will be after that. You should have the basics already. Challenge 41 and 76 100ths is 43.5% of what number? So 41 and 76 100ths, right, is 43.5%, right, of what number is missing, which is definitely 100%, and this is your proportion. 41 and 76 100. Let's rewrite this thing. 41 and 76 100 is 41.76 over your number x will be equal to 43.5 over 100, right? To find your x, you will divide this diagonal product, right? 41.75 times 100 by 43.5, and you should get, well, I would say approximately what you get here will be 95.98, right? You can check. 41 and 76 100 is 43.5% of what number? And to, check your work here, you may say, well, how about 41? Hold on, because I made a mistake. I put 0.75. It should be 76, right? Should be 76, and now instead of 95, you get 96. Okay? So your 41 and 76 100ths is 43.5% of 96, and to check, you will say, okay, 41.76 divided by 96. 41.76 divided by 96. What is that going to give you? That will give you 43. Well, you will get point, right? 435. But this one is 43.5%. So we're good. Okay, I hope it makes sense. Let's see a few other problems. Problem number 25 from your books, right? Yoshi spent $28.8 at the supermarket. This was 36% of the cash he had in his wallet. First question. How much cash did Yoshi have before he paid his supermarket bill? So That will be the first thing you have to look for, and basically that's what? How much cash he had in his wallet. B, after shopping, Yoshi bought dinner for his family for $16.50. He gave the server a 16% tip. How much money did Yoshi have left? We're gonna get back to this one after we do part A, right? Part A, how much cash did Yoshi had before he started this, shopping craziness, right? What he said, he spent 28.8%. So first of all, let's solve part A. And the problem is telling me that 28.8%, 28.8, not percent, dollars, right, is 36% of Yoshi's money, Yoshi's cash. We need to know how much cash is in Yoshi's wallet. Well, if 28.8 was 36%, whatever cash, and we can say X is the total cash, right? Or is the cash in Yoshi's wallet. Okay, X, that cash is actually 100%. And now you have a proportion here. Okay, your proportion is that 28.8 over X is 36 over 100. And that's your equation if you want to write it in a simpler way, right? X will be 28.8 times 100 divided by 36. And if you calculate that, right, you have 28.8 times 100 divided by 36. And that should give you $80. Okay, so we know that Yoshi had $80 in his wallet. Okay, let's move on to part B. After shopping. Okay, after shopping, well, how much money is Yoshi having after the shopping part, knowing that he spent 28.8? Well, you will have your $80, his $80, from which you're gonna take the 28.8 shopping expenses, right? And this will give you what? Well, 8 out of 0 you have to borrow, right? 8 out of 10 will be 2. Bring down the decimal point. 8 out of 9 will be 1. And 2 out of 7 will be 5, right? So we know that Yoshi has $51.2 when he was paying for family dinner. Okay, now Yoshi will spend 16.5 on a dinner, right? So from 51 I will take $16.5 away. 5 out of 12 will be 7, decimal point, right? 6 out of, you have to borrow from 5, 6 out of 10 will be 4, 1 out of 4 will be 3. Okay, so I know that after Yoshi pays for the dinner, he will have $34.7. However, Yoshi will give some tip, right? Which is 16% of not what money he had in his pocket, but 16% of the total bill, right? Giving a tip between 10 and 20% will be reasonable wherever you guys are, having your dinner or buying things, especially in the state of Nevada where, that's like common sense. Okay, so you need to find what is 16% of 16.50, and you're looking for, right, 16% of 16.50. How do you find that? Well, you remember that basically you just multiply 16 by 16.5 and divide by 100, but if that doesn't make sense, you're going to say 16% is how many dollars, right? Knowing that 16.5, actually going backwards here, knowing that 100% is 16.5, okay? And this is your ratio, 16 over 100 equals x over 16.5. To find x, which is the tip that Yoshi gave to the server, right, you will cross multiply here. Right, 16 times 16.5. So basically the tip x will be 16 times 16.5 divided by 100, right? What is that? Well, 16 times 16.5 will be 264, right? Divided by 100, that should give you what? 2.64. So $2.64 were given as a tip. To find how much money Yoshi had left, you will take from 34.7 2.64. 4 out of 10 would be 6, 6 out of 6 would be 0, right? Decimal point, 2 out of 4, 2, 3. Yoshi will be left with $32.06. Well, let me know if I made any mistake. Okay, how about that? You know that your math teachers are not perfect, they will make mistakes. Let me know. We're moving on. Okay, problem number 27, same page. Marisol scored 80% on her math test. The test had 45 questions and each question was worth the same amount of the final score. That's good to know. How many questions did Marisol answer correctly? How can we solve this problem? Well, we know she had 80% score, right? Which means she answered 80% of the questions right. Okay? To solve this problem, you will say, and you will start by saying that 45 questions will give you, or will give Marisol a 100% score if she will answer 45 questions, right? 45 questions right. Well, how many questions, X questions, answered correctly gave Marisol 80% score? Well, this is your proportion. 45 over X is 100 over 8. Okay? Now, first of all, you can simplify here by 10, right? We can move on by simplifying again by 2, or you may say X will be the product of the other diagonal, 45 times 8. Everything divided by the number that's on the same diagonal with X, which is 10. And I left it like that because dividing by 10 is really easy, we know it, right? What is this going to give you? 8 times 5, 40. 8 times 4, 32. Plus 4, 36. Divided by 10, simple operation, you just cross 1 0 from each, right? And now I know that Marisol had answered 36 questions right. Okay, and that's how she got 80% on her test. Okay, makes sense? Hopefully it does. How about another problem? Okay, problem number 28. How can we solve this one? What do you guys think? Obviously, you have to read the problem. 3 candidates were running for class president. Of the 250 students eligible to vote, 75 voted for Carlos, right? So I have, well, first of all, let's read the problem, right? And 32% of the students voted for Latoya. Of those who didn't vote, okay, of those who didn't vote for Carlos or Latoya, 60% of them voted for Stephanie, and the rest of the students choose not to vote. The rest did not vote. A. What percent of the eligible students voted for Carlos? First question. Let's do that first. A. How many students we have? 250 students. That's the total, right? That's the 100% of the students eligible to vote. Okay. How many voted for Carlos? 75. The question will be here, 75 is what percent of 250? What is an easy way? Well, 75 over 250, right? That will tell you what percentage this is. And this equals what? How can we find very quick 75 divided by 250? What is the trick that we can use here? Anybody? How about multiplying the bottom by 4? And obviously you need to multiply the top by 4, which gives you what? 75 times 4. 4 times 5 is 20. 4 times 7 is 28 plus 2, 30. 250 times 4 will be 1000, right? Do you guys see the trick now? Divide by 100 top and bottom, and you end up with 3 tenths, which is 0.3, which is what percentage? Or actually, I should leave it like this. Hold on. You can cross only 1 0, and this will give you 30 over 100, and that's obviously what percentage? 30%. That's the answer for problem number A. What percent? 30%. Okay. B. How many votes did Latoya receive? 32% of the students voted for Latoya, right? So part B will be 30% of the total, which is 250. Is what? How can we find that? Well, 30% of 250 is what? Well, you can set up an equation in many ways. Or you can first just go ahead and use the rule we have learned in class to find the percent by just saying that 30% of 250 will be 30 times 250 divided by 100, right? You can simplify here by 10. You can find that this is actually what? 75, right? Or you may say 30% is an X number of students, but we know that 100% is 250, right? And this is your proportion that you can use. You'll basically end up with the same answer. Okay, 75 students. And this will answer part B, 75. How many votes? Next one. How many votes did Stephanie receive? Okay, well, the problem is saying that of those who didn't vote for Carlos or Latoya, okay, how can we find that? Well, how many voted for Carlos? 75. How many voted for Latoya? 75. we need to subtract these numbers from 250. And if you take 75, so C, right, will be 250 minus the people who voted for Carlos minus the people who voted for Latoya, and this will leave us with 100 people. Okay? Of those people, 60% voted for Stephanie. So to answer problem number or part C, you need to find what is 60% of 100. 60% of 100 is what? Well, that would be 60, right? 60 students. That was an easy question. 60% of 100 is definitely 60. How many votes did Stephanie receive? 60 votes. Okay. The rest of the students choose not to vote. How many students choose not to vote? Well, 100 minus 60, we have 40 students. The question is D, right? The last question. Who won the elections? Who won the elections? Well, we got two people here that won the elections. And I think we made a mistake, right? Because on the B question, how many votes did Latoya? We used 32. We used 30 instead of 32. So we need to change something here, right? This would be 32. This would be 32. And I have 32 over 100. So it will definitely not be 75. Will be more than that. And this should tell us that, you know, actually Latoya won the elections. But let's find out what should be the correct number here. So I've got 32 times 25, 250 over 100. Okay, 32 times 250 over 100. Well, first of all, I can simplify by 10, right? And I got 32 times 25. 32 times 25 divided by 100, or by 10 actually, and that will tell me that I have 80 students. Okay, so correction here. For Latoya we have 80 students. This should correct part C, right? Because I need to subtract from 250, 75 and 80. So that will give me what? 250 minus 75. You can say minus 75 plus 80 if you want. So it'll be 250 minus 75 plus 80 is 100. 55, right? 5 out of 0, 5 out of 10 will be 5, 5 out of 4, you have to borrow, will be 9, right? 1 out of 1. So 95 students were left, and of these students 60%, so we have 60% of 95. To find that, you will multiply 60 times 95 and you will divide by 100. Okay, and I have 60, let's change colors. 6 times 95, 6 times 5, 30, 6 times 9, 54, plus 3, 57, divided by 100, by 10, and that leaves me with 57 students. So instead of 60, it would be 57 students. For Stephanie, we know the answer for D. We knew the answer for D right away. Latoya won the elections. Okay, so be careful. As you notice, I made a mistake here. I didn't pay attention that it was not 32%. It was not 30%. It was 32%. Easy to make mistakes. Okay. Should we do another one? I don't have any other one here, but this is it. I hope will help. Pay attention to what I did right, what I did wrong. Okay, we learn from our mistakes, and you guys will be fine. Please complete the quizzes on percents. Tomorrow we'll have percents again. Okay, thank you very much.